How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Dr. Anthony Fauci admitting that the whole mask wearing thing, at least as it relates to him specifically, has been theater after he told Dr. Rand Paul that it wasn't back in March of this year, 2021. Now, there's a lot to quote unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say. But first, let's get into two clips. The first clip will be Fauci saying that, hey, he had to wear the mask because of this reason, because of that reason, none of which had to do with science specifically. You know, we've been told, trust the science, believe the science. He did not wear his mask for a scientific reason. Then I'm going to play the clip where he's having an argument basically with Rand Paul talking about, oh, it's not theater. After we get done watching those clips, I'll talk about what was said there. Then I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents, my deep, detailed analysis, and then wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
How has it changed what you do when you wear a mask?
Excuse me, how has
it changed what you do? How has it changed your mask wearing practices?
Well, you know, George, I'm obviously careful because, I'm a physician and a healthcare provider. I am now much more comfortable in people seeing me indoors without a mask. I mean, before the CDC made the recommendation change, I didn't want to look like I was giving mixed signals. But being a fully vaccinated person, the chances of my getting infected in an indoor setting is extremely low. And that's the reason why in indoor settings now, I feel comfortable about not wearing a mask because I'm fully vaccinated.
You've been vaccinated and you parade around in 2 masks for show.
No.
You can't get it again. There's virtually 0% chance you're going to get it, and yet you're telling people that have had the vaccine, who have immunity. You're defying everything we know about immunity by telling people to wear a mask who've been vaccinated.
No.
Instead, you should be saying there is no science to say we're going to have a problem from the large number of people being vaccinated. You want to get rid of vaccine hesitancy? Tell them they can quit wearing their mask after they get the vaccine. You want people to get the vaccine? Give them a reward instead of telling them that the nanny state's going to be there for 3 more years and you got to wear a mask forever. People don't want to hear it. There's no science behind it.
Well, let me just state for the record that masks are not theater. Masks are not theater. Masks are not theater. Masks are protective. And we
have immunity there, theater. If you already have immunity, you're wearing a mask to give comfort to others. You're not wearing a mask because of any science.
I totally disagree with you.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, this is a thing that I think people who are paying attention have known about for a while. We didn't need to see a video. We didn't need to get him exposed. We knew what was going on from the very beginning because let's go back. Let's go back to March of 2020, right when the whole virus really popped on the mainstream level here in the U.S. What did Anthony Fauci say? If you forgot, I'll place it on the screen so you can see it and hear it for yourself.
Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
That's what he said right when the whole thing popped. Oh, there's no need to wear it. It might block a droplet or two, but it's not providing perfect protection. That's what he said from the very beginning. And you know what? To give Fauci a little bit of credit, I think he was being honest right when he said that. I think that was pure honesty without politics or theater or political theater being involved. Because in reality, they've come out recently and said that it doesn't matter if you're 6 feet apart or 60 feet apart, it's going to be the same rate of transmission. So this whole socially distance and wearing your mask, it wasn't going to work really that well from the very beginning, unless you were just never leaving your house. And I think they said in New York City, the majority of those that were hospitalized with the virus had been at home, quarantined. Like 70 to 80% of those who were hospitalized with the virus in New York City were at home. You know, very low homeless population that had been hospitalized with the virus. And I'm like, okay, they're living outside. They ain't doing no distancing. They're not doing anything to really prevent from getting the virus. So how are they not really going to the hospital like that? Maybe there should have been a case study on them, or if you're just paying attention, observe it and be like, hey, why is nobody homeless really going to the hospital with the virus? What's really going on? They're not socially distanced. They're not wearing masks. They're not even really in sanitary conditions. What's going on? Maybe that should have been kind of a red flag right there, that this whole, 6 feet apart and wearing a mask wasn't really going to be the end all be all. But for now, I digress. Anthony Fauci admitted that the reason why he would wear a mask inside is because he didn't want anyone to see him looking a certain way, because the CDC did not update their guidelines. So basically, what the CDC is saying is not right. It's not right as an actual doctor, allegedly, Dr. Fauci. But regardless of that, you decided to wear a mask because of how it would look, not for any scientific purpose. You could come out and say, I'm not wearing a mask right now because I've gotten the vaccine, or I've had the virus, I have the antibodies. You could come out and say that and be honest. What Rand Paul said was just being honest. People just act like Rand Paul's not a doctor. He's a doctor. He's an actual eye surgeon. He does not have some kind of honorary doctorate. That's not even really being a doctor. You can have a doctorate without being a doctor. Rand Paul is an actual medical doctor, a physician, okay, a practicing physician. He goes on mission trips all the time to like Haiti and performs free eye surgeries, okay? Not an optometrist where you get your glasses. An ophthalmologist. I've been to both, obviously. I wear glasses. These are prescription glasses, and I've had eye surgery. I know the difference. That's Rand Paul. He's an actual doctor. So maybe we take his word for certain things. Maybe we just listen to him a little bit more rather than just Dr. Fauci. I think the reason why Fauci has not been fired yet, because he should be fired. I mean, let's be clear. From the beginning, he said, don't wear a mask. Then a week later or something like that, sometime very soon after that, he said, okay, wear a mask. Then it became wear 2 masks. Then there was a story that came on CNBC because of what Fauci was saying, talking about, oh, well, you know what? If 1 mask works and 2 masks work better, why not 3 masks? Talking about it'll reduce the rate of transmission up to 90%. I'm like, okay, if it's going to reduce the rate of transmission, if it's going to reduce the droplets by 90%, is it also reducing my airflow by 90%? I like to breathe. Oxygen is a great thing. I think everybody should try oxygen. If you've been holding your breath for a long time, you might not want to do that anymore. You might want to try breathing air, but I'm kind of going down rabbit hole, so I digress. My whole point is that Fauci has been wrong time and time again. CDC, same thing. 6 feet apart, that's wrong. Okay, wear a mask indoors, that's wrong. They're wrong time and time again. They keep changing things. They keep updating things. But we're told anytime they say anything, believe the science. So when should I believe the science? When you're wrong or when you're right? And how do I know when you're wrong or when you're right? Science is not some kind of just thing that's etched in stone all the time. All right. It's a study. That's what science means. It's a study of the natural world around you. So with a new virus that just comes on the scene, you don't have definitive, conclusive answers to the problems that it creates. You're trying to figure out things that are going to work. So don't tell me when I say, hey, I'm not sure about the vaccine. Hey, I'm not sure about wearing the mask. Hey, I'm not sure about Dr. Fauci or anybody else. Don't tell me that I'm not believing in the science. I'm really just following science, because science is always trying to test itself, trying to prove itself, trying to improve, trying to make things more efficient with a higher efficacy. That's what the whole purpose of science is. So there is no definitive, conclusive thing, especially when it comes to new things like this virus. So I'm glad that Fauci finally admitted that he was, just doing things because of how I look on camera. He's a Hollywood doctor at this particular point in time. Rand Paul, I like Rand Paul a lot, a whole lot. And what he did right there with Fauci, it just made me like him that much more. And you know why I like him? Not because he's a Republican, which is not even, he's a libertarian as far as I know, who runs as Republican. It's not even about his political affiliation. It's about him just being real, just being honest and keeping it real. He's a doctor. He is looking at things from a practical point of view. What makes sense? What does not make sense? Simple. It ain't it's no political stuff involved. It's like, okay, we're both doctors here. The mask and all of this, what's the point in wearing it when you already got the vaccine or you had the antibodies? Okay, let's look at the actual science. See, as I close, I want to say this. Dr. Fauci and a lot of the other leftist pawns in this chess game are not even following what they say is science. They're following political narratives. They're following optics. Oh, I got to wear a mask inside this building because if I don't, then it's going to look bad for the camera. Rand Paul's like, I don't care how this looks. I'm going to stand on the side of what's right. What's right doesn't have to be a thing that you get clearance for politically to say. Stand for what's right because it's right, and that's it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about Dr. Fauci admitting to wearing a mask indoors because it look a certain way? It's for optics. It's because CDC did not update their guidelines, not because of science. I'll make that was crystal clear. He did not wear a mask indoors because of quote unquote science. He wore it because of optics, how it would look. He didn't want to send mixed signals. Sir, I don't care about any of that when it comes to health and things of that nature. I don't care about your political ties and friends in DC and Capitol Hill. I don't care about any of that. Tell me what's right. Tell me what you know as far as correct information as you know it right now. Now, your information could change, and I respect that. But be honest. Tell me what's going on. Say, hey, you know what? These things could change, but here's the best solution right now. Be honest. That's all I ask for. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm not asking for anything else other than honesty, and that's what Rand Paul gave. So shout out to Rand Paul and Dr. Fauci. Like I said, if it were not for him being a leftist political darling, he'd have been fired a million times by now. That's just the reality of the situation. You know, Trump said it when he was in office. He was like, look, I'd fire him, but then it'd cause a bigger storm than the storm that's caused when I disagree with him. So you guys pretty much know where I'm at with it. I think this whole thing has been a charade. The pandemic, scandemic, has been a charade. Yes, there is a virus. Yes, it is deadly. But the way that it's been dealt with, the way that there have been messages sent from the government has been all over the place. It's been more politically driven than medically driven. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.